Hello and welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. Big up to everyone who's here and watching. Whether it's on replay or live right now, make sure you get your comments in either the live chat or underneath this video if you're watching on replay, because I love to hear. The main stories today breaking out of Aston Villa are the following. The Rashford transfer for next season really does seem unlikely, and I'm going to explain why. Big decisions to be made from Aston Villa. And of course, Emi Martinez. He's been in the news a lot this week. He's been controversial for Argentina in terms of his clash with Rafinha, doing kick-up showboating. But he has commented on this PSG tie, and very interesting comments coming out of Emi Martinez's mouth. Some news on Luca Digne that I found absolutely fascinating. He is someone who clearly is very committed to Aston Villa, and he is going the extra level that we love to see. So big up to everyone. Make sure you're smashing the like button up for me. Get in the chat or comment on a replay as we get into these stories today. And good to see the likes of Spicy Pricey and Michael Huggins early on in the chat. Big up to you guys. Hope you're doing well. And look, let's just get straight into the first story on Marcus Rashford. I did a video earlier on this today in which Fabrizio Romano basically spoke the truth on the Rashford situation. But there's some compelling piece of news about Marcus Rashford that really does worry me. And we need to divulge into this. But second of all, what if we're operating a little bit wrong with Marcus Rashford now this season? And it may be as a short-term player as opposed to the long-term option of Jacob Ramsey. And a lot of people commented on my video earlier about who's better, Jacob Ramsey, Marcus Rashford. Where should we be putting our eggs in that basket? Should we look to be selling Jacob Ramsey to then profit off Marcus Rashford and use Marcus Rashford as the player that we need? Do we actually say, do you know what? Jacob Ramsey's our star boy. Jacob Ramsey is the man for the future. Let's go with him. So I'd love to know people's thoughts on Jacob Ramsey, the Marcus Rashford situation. And the reason why I'm saying that is really quite clear. Jacob Ramsey is losing game time because of Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford has basically taken a place in the England international side off Jacob Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey is an Aston Villa player. Marcus Rashford isn't. How and what do we do? Because if Marcus Rashford is signing that season, then I'm all for it. If he's not, what do we do? So, reason why he is not going to sign for us, in my opinion, transfer that's unlikely, is this news here. Okay, what Fabrizio broke. And I'm just going to put that on the screen. As I said, I covered this story a little bit earlier on my video. And if you haven't seen that video, then of course, this is why we've got the live running up right now. Aston Villa, they're not planning to activate anything for Marcus Rashford. End of the season, when they understand about European football, how was the whole season, they'll assess also the financial situation. FFP is a crucial topic for them. Okay, Villa fans, this is what I'm getting tired of. This is seriously what I'm getting tired of. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing the three letters FFP. Sick and tired of it. To the point now where it's getting boring. That every transfer window we go into, it's, oh, I have to wait and see what FFP says. It's getting boring now. We have to sell to bring in. We have to offload big guns to bring in big guns. And I'm saying this genuinely now, to see that situation again, that Villa really like a player. All the comments about Monchi and Unai Emery in terms of Rashford, his attitude, his application, how he's been. And then all of them said, yeah, we really like him. To then basically get turned around and said, hey, do you know what? We're just going to have to wait a second. We're going to have to wait and see, A, if we qualify for a European competition, B, finances available, and C, do you know what? Even worse, if you're in line with FFP. So I asked the question again. Is this going to be a recurring theme every transfer window that Aston Villa are getting stung by this FFP? How on earth do we compete with Manchester City, your Arsenals, your Liverpools, your Man Uniteds, dare I say it, even Spurs, in the transfer window, that is, when they can spend free willy, when they can go and buy the players they want to, when they don't have the FFP shackles? Yet we want a player who wants to play for us, is proven himself to do really well, can't get him. Totally do not understand it. So honestly, Villa fans, I would love to know your thoughts on that. Peter saying with Villa paying his wages, he's got to play. In terms of the current situation, I agree on that, Pete. Spicy said Rash has got to step up and quickly. Now, interestingly, I think his England performances have come under a little bit of scrutiny from some people. They've like, this is the problem. They've looked at Rashford in England shirt and gone back negative on him. Rashford in a Villa shirt for me has done everything well but score. And that's probably where his frustration is starting to creep in as a player. Marcus Rashford is now basically playing game by game, waiting for his goal. And the longer he goes without scoring, the more frustrated his performances starts to become. And then the more he starts forcing situations. I think you saw it for England. He was desperate to get his opportunity. He was desperate to get on the score sheet. Couldn't quite land it. Eberechi Eze comes on, same position, gets one little chance in the box, scores. That would have annoyed Rashford. So Rashford for me is a player who is digging deep, who is trying to find some form, is trying to get that first goal. But this is the sticking point for me on Rashford here. And this is why I just do not see this transfer ever happening. It says now Aston Villa have to decide and see whether they're able to pay the 40 million for Marcus Rashford or not. But this is something that will be discussed in the next month. 40 million. So we're already crippled by FFP. We've already basically been told that we need to get European football. And then we've got to go and find 40 million. The more I read into this, the more I believe that Rashford will not be coming. The more I believe Rashford will not be coming to Aston Villa. And so that's why I'm talking about this season now. Big up to Fraser who's joined us in the chat. Michael says, to be honest on Rashford, I'm not worrying whether he stays or goes. My focus is win the FA Cup, finishing fifth and getting to the semi-finals of the Champions League. And do you know what? In a way, that links on to my next point. Is it okay to be short-term focused in football? And what I mean by that is, screw Jacob Ramsey. Let's get the best out of Rashford for the next couple of months and see if he can win us a piece of silverware. That is the ultimate for me. Are we getting the best sort of outcome by doing that? Now, you could already say, Josh, Aston Villa are already starting that short-term focus. Aston Villa are already starting that. Why? Because we dropped Donny Marlon from the Champions League squad. We said to Donny Marlon, hey, we've just signed you, but you're not in our UCL squad. We've got better attackers, loanees. So I think there is a short-term focus at Aston Villa in a way. I think, as Michael has said in the chat, I think we're so driven to win trophies that it's the only outcome. It's the only way. I don't know. I just think, personally for me, watching Jacob Ramsey is someone who I feel is very inconsistent and product lacks. Purple patch player. But we all know there's potential there. When I see Marcus Rashford, I see a player who has stepped up, who has dealt with pressure, who is getting good numbers. And if we're honest, I don't think he's ghosted one Villa game this season. Every opportunity Rashford has, he's had an impact, or he's produced a number. For me, Jacob Ramsey could play many of games where he scores or assists in that first open 5-10 minutes. And then basically, he goes missing for the rest of the game. The Rashford versus Ramsey situation is something I'm going to be keeping my eyes on. Brentford said Villa or Inter for the UCL. Interesting. Inter's an interesting shout. Spicy said JJ is more than capable of winning us a trophy. I mean, I love your belief in Jacob Ramsey. Personally, for me, he's more of a... I just think that he's upgradable, and Rashford is proving that. Michael, he said, I don't think we're putting anyone over I don't think we are putting anyone over, but to me, Ramsey and the other players need to up their games, and I agree on that one. I really do. So, with the Rashford situation, transfer for me looks dusted next season. I think Villa, with a lot of these, are going to have to really hear the same phrases. Let's wait for FFP. Let's see what funds are available. And that's why Asensio is probably more realistic than Rashford. Asensio has a target price of 15 million. I think we could possibly be doing some business with PSG. 15 million compared to Rashford, 40 million. Wages, I think there's only one winner in that. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that one. So there we go. Big up to everyone in the chat. Please make sure you are smashing the like button. I do appreciate it. And please do keep the comments flowing. Really do appreciate that as well. So, Emi Martinez. Let's get on to old Debu, eh? Oh boy, Debu's nuts. He's absolutely nuts. And as I said, I don't know if anyone's seen the fallout of his Argentina situation, but my gosh, he's absolutely bonkers, isn't he, old Debu? He's absolutely bonkers. So, he has said the following. Okay? We'll start on this one here. Asensio has been signed 100. I agree. I think Asensio, yeah, I feel like Asensio is almost a done deal. You know what I mean? Spicy. I do agree on that. But Emi Martinez, PSG, it's going to be heated. I've already received messages and everything. We're tough at home, but we struggle a bit more away from home. It's a knockout. Anything can happen. Okay. What a message this is. Let's divulge the headspace and mindset of Emi Martinez. Let's divulge the headspace of Emi Martinez. Well, first of all, he's someone who loves bringing a bit of heat to an occasion. I like the way he's received messages. Now, I'm wondering, is that fellow Argentinian PSG players who are getting in the ear of Emi Martinez? Is it people outside of PSG? I really hope it's some PSG players giving it the big one. I hope it's some PSG players running their mouth. I really, really do. I would love to know. I would love to know who those players are who have been messaging Emi Martinez and giving him a bit of talk. Because Debu, he ain't having it. He ain't having it. So, now, the mindset of Villa. Now, this is the mentality that worries me a little bit with Villa. Because I'm going to say this loud and clear. If Villa come away from the Parc des Princes in Paris with either a draw or a win, I think we win the tie. If we come to Villa Park on an aggregate score of 2 or more deficit, I can't see us turn it around. He says we're tough at home, but we struggle a bit more away from home. It's a knockout. Anything can happen. Don't you find that fascinating that Emi Martinez has said that? Don't you find that fascinating that Emi Martinez has actually said, do you know what, we're really good at home, but we're not very good away from home? I find that nuts. I find that absolutely nuts that a player of Emi Martinez's ilk and caliber can turn around and go, do you know what? Our away form's not very good. At least he's being honest. I think probably, though, my biggest worry is right now with it all, and I've got to be real with this, is that away tie. That away tie is massive. Doesn't matter if we try and keep a clean sheet at home. If we're out the tie and buried in Paris, then we're done. And that's why the advantage of playing in Paris first is absolutely amazing. So he goes on to say a bit more further. And Spicy loves a bit of Debu. Pete said, watch him keep a clean sheet. Mike was thinking how lucky we are. And John said, the keeper from Bro, very impressive against us. Is he the left back or right back? One or the other. Am I getting confused with that? But yeah, the game in France. The good thing is that my team will have less pressure because people will insult me. I have it completely under control. Against Lille, they blew my mind for 120 minutes. It's normal. Well, again, this guy's nuts. This guy's absolutely nuts. So the good thing is that my team will have less pressure because people will insult me. So that just reminds me of why. I've just literally clocked why. I've literally just clocked why Emi Martinez is hated in France. I've literally just clocked it. Is everyone else on my wavelength? I've literally just clocked why Emi Martinez is hated in France. Because of the World Cup final. Where's my head been? I've been reading that comment today going, why would they be insulting Emi? Why did he get pelters at Lille? It's because of the World Cup final. Because he basically, single-handedly, stole the World Cup for France. And so now it makes sense. And they clearly haven't forgotten. So I like that. He's basically saying, listen, the rest of the lads will be fine. I'll take the pelters and goal. And he said, obviously, against Lille, they blew his mind. Well, we know how that ended against Lille. We beat them. So bring it on. But you can see this guy is already pumped for it. This guy is an adrenaline junkie. This guy is a bit of a bloody maverick. This guy is absolutely off his rocker. And I think he thrives I think he thrives for these type of occasions. I think he absolutely thrives for these type of occasions. I think he wants to get pelters. I think he wants to get abuse, and I think he's ready for it. So we'll have to wait and see. But come on then, Villa. Debut, clean sheet, Peter's corner. I love it. Absolutely all about that. Mike said, we're still focused on the game in hand, and by doing that, it'll bring us success. When running a marathon, I cannot run mile 23 before I run miles 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I get that. I completely get that. And I think, obviously, again, you haven't got Emi Martinez currently commenting on the Preston North End game. And that is because, obviously, this interview here is a bit more global. People obviously are looking more at the Champions League, a more global competition. But clearly, as you're right, the focus really should be Preston before PSG. But hey, we've got 2 Ps that we've got to knock out this week, and we should be cleaning them up. So absolutely love that fighting talk from Digne, and I think he's got a lot to say in the right manner, and I love that. And yeah, so the next story and the final story is on Lucas Digne. This one is fascinating, to say the least. This one is something that, when you look at what a proper pro is, let's use that word, proper pro. When you look at what a proper pro is, Lucas Digne epitomizes this. Look at this story, people. Look at this story. Let me just get the right story out. And yeah, big up to Total Villa, whose account comes up with these stories. And I like using that, or Villa Report, as sort of my guidance for when I do some of this stuff, and I do enjoy it. So, have a read of this. Lucas Digne has done everything he can outside of training hours to improve. On occasion, he has stayed overnight at Bodymoor Heath to ensure he gets enough sleep, and returned early from scheduled days off following France games. Now, so much to unpick here. First and foremost, this is from Jacob Ramsey, a really reliable source. Lucas Digne has probably, again, elevated his season this year, without a doubt. I think people will say this with chess, that Lucas Digne's had a really good season, to the point that he's kept someone like Ian Maatsen on the bench, a new signing from Borussia Dortmund, a Champions League finalist, on the bench for most of the season. Lucas Digne's numbers have been excellent. And finally, Lucas Digne, for the last 2 or 3 years, no doubt about it, and I'll bring this up again probably this summer, has been linked as a move away from Aston Villa. Lucas Digne has constantly been linked to a Saudi Arabia club, and I know that PSG were linked with him last year as well. Lucas Digne is in the French international squad and has broken back into that side, and is a hot prospect. If you want to go sign a decent left back, Lucas Digne is up there for me as one of the best again in the league and in Europe. So it is no wonder that you can see the work that he's doing has paid off. Hard work paying off, because he's got into that French national side. He's playing very well for Villa. But look at the extra details and lengths he's going to. And as Spicy said, he's another beast for us. He's another unsung hero. All right, I would say. First bit then. On occasions, he has stayed overnight at the training ground to ensure he gets enough sleep. Okay. Couple of things to divulge about that. First of all, does Lucas Digne have any family or wife? First of all, because he's got to be a solo single man to be doing that, surely, if he's going for a sleepover at the training ground to sleep. Second of all, though, Unai Emery, when he first took over at Villa, suggested about the idea of building what was like a hotel complex at Bodymoor Heath, in the fact that he wanted to be able to stay overnight himself. He wanted to be able to analyze games. He wanted to be able to essentially use it as a base of pure professionalism, that he can stay as late as he can. Michael says he has 3 children, I believe. Maybe the family stays over with him then. I don't know. But if he's trying to get enough sleep, it can't be the commute. So maybe it's to get away from the children. I don't know. But the fact that he's been staying over at Bodymoor Heath, it just came to my mind that you talk about the extra details that Unai Emery looks at. He has been talking about this as something that he wants installed at the training ground. The best food facilities. He wants sleeping facilities. He wants people. I wonder. So Spicy said he does have a wife as well. It's interesting though. I'd love to know more about this story, because obviously what Jacob Tanswell's put there is to get more sleep. So the dedication from Lucas Digne is there. But the other one, and return early from scheduled days off following France games. So what that means is they go on international duty, and the club So I'll put that on the screen because I've just looked at my own one. The second line there where it says scheduled days off. Basically, you go and play an international duty. You go enjoy your international. And because you've been traveling or you've been tired or you've gone to the other side of the world, or in this case, really, it's not, it's across Europe. Clubs go, do you know what? If you land on the Monday, have Tuesday off and come in on Wednesday. Luca Dean said, no, I'm all right, Gaffer. I'm actually going to come in on the Tuesday. And so those extra details to a top athlete are the difference between being good and excellent. The difference between another year on your contract and we'll find someone better. And that is the sort of thing that Ronaldo and Messi have probably installed across all footballers is you have to put in the extra yards. You have to go the extra mile. You have to not take this life for granted. And they don't. They don't, and they haven't. And I think Luca Dean has shown that. I really believe Luca Dean has shown that he's kept his place with a big pressure on at left back. Big pressure on at him, by the way, because Ian Maatsen wasn't a cheap signing either. Ian Maatsen signed, and Rafael van der Vaart, I don't know if anyone's seen this, Rafael van der Vaart's been quite vocal about Aston Villa. Rafael van der Vaart has basically slated Aston Villa. He said he doesn't understand why Ian Maatsen and Donny Malen signed for us, obviously with a Dutch link. He said Ian Maatsen was in the Champions League, he signed for Villa, and he's not even playing. He needs to move. He's too good not to be starting. And the second one, he said, Donny Malen gets left out of the Champions League squad. What an insult. So Rafael van der Vaart has been quite chopsy and vocal about how we're treating the Dutch players at Villa. Each their own. He's probably got a point. But at the end of the day, Luca Dean is irreplaceable for me. If we play the Champions League game against PSG, I'm choosing Luca Dean all day long. If I'm choosing my best 11, I'm choosing Luca Dean all day long. Donny Malen does not get in my best 11, and neither does Ian Maatsen. So, with that, and this is where it confuses me, because I am convinced it's been in my body since September, October. I'm sure we're selling Luca Dean in the summer. The irony of all of this, a guy who seems really committed to Aston Villa, I'm sure Luca Dean's going to Saudi. I'm sorry, but how can you keep getting linked to that country and those teams and there not be any fruition from it? I feel if there's Luca Dean Saudi rumours again this year, he's vamos. And the reason why is because of Ian Maatsen, because we've got a replacement ready to go. We wouldn't have let him go if we didn't, but I just think now that with that replacement right there, we're ready to rock and roll. We're ready to do it. So, yeah, that's the interesting news coming out of today. Obviously, let me know your thoughts on the Luca Dean situation. Michael says, I think he'll leave too. Absolutely. Big up to Andy Brogan, one of our members in the house, who's in it at the Aston Villa. Big up to you, Andy. And Peter said, has Kamara signed a new contract yet? No, I did a video on that. And the situation is we've started negotiations. We're underway to get Kamara on a couple more years. Hopefully up to 2029 would be good. Mr. Free Agent, the work of Steven Gerrard, God bless him. And there we go. But yeah, if you do want to become a member, then do click on the pinned comment in the live chat. 99p, we have not changed our prices. We'll not change our prices on that. And really does help the channel out. And gets a fancy badge for yourself and some emojis in the chat if you do want to do that. Spice says, do you think Malen could do a better job than Bailey right now? See, I think there's a new role for Bailey in this world. I said this, and Luke and I were discussing this. I see Bailey as a right wing back. I think we're going to absolutely go nuts. I think we're going to go nuts. I think we're going to really change our shape soon. Just watch. Just watch. Bailey's basically been in Unai Emery's little favour, and also he's done well again for Jamaica in this international break. So that's an interesting one. But yeah, Donny Malen, hard to comment on him because we've not seen enough of him. And that's my worry is, how many games are we going to give Donny Malen? How many chances, opportunities? What do we need to see from him? We'll have to wait and see. So, yeah, let's see what happens on that one. And Kamara's a massive one for me. Look, you've got to sign your best players. You've got to tie them down. You've got to bring in these best players. You have to keep them at the club. And if you can't keep them, then get them signed on a new deal and get as much money as possible, a.k.a. John Duran. John Duran, we put him on a new deal, and then we got so much more money for him. Have to do that with Kamara. And the better Kamara keeps playing, the more attention he's going to get because defensive midfielders are hard to find. So imagine if we get this guy for free, Kamara, and eventually we have to go sell him for 50, 60 million. Well, we've just made 100% profit. So there we go. And big up to Andy Brogan in the house. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Do. Andy Brogan, do. Andy Brogan. Always got a time for a sing and a shout. We've got to appreciate the people who are coming in and doing that. I really do appreciate it, Andy. Thank you so much. And ultimately, listen, Villa are in that period right now where people are going, but we've got the season to concentrate on. Wow, we've got the FA Cup and Champions League and Premier League to sort out still before we even look at transfers. No. Football doesn't work like that anymore. Football does not work like that anymore. Football has a guillotine, and the guillotine is this. You cannot possibly wait to start your negotiations with players in the middle of a transfer market because that's when you can lose them. You have to get them tied down now. We have to get Kamara done before the end of the season. We have to get him pen to paper, get another couple more years in, lock that in. Second of all, we are going to be juggling FFP like no tomorrow. I'm sorry, it's going to be one horrible summer again, chat. We are going to be in for one of the biggest roller coaster rides. Do not get attached to any loan player, aka Rashford or Asensio. Do not dare think that any players are undroppable. Do not think that. And what I say undroppable is, don't you dare think that just because John McGinn wears the captain's armband, we may not lose him. Don't you also think that we're not going to have the Ollie Watkins saga or the Luca Dean, and dare I even say it, Emi Martinez. I hate to say it, but no one is safe. No one is safe at Aston Villa when you've got financial fair play shackles on you, because guess what? The only way you survive this big bad world of money and football is you have to sell your best players. You have to sell your best players. Dougie Luiz and Moussa Diaby saved our season last year. Dougie Luiz and Diaby saved us from financial cripplings. But I'm going to say this. Our summer window killed us. Our summer window stopped us qualifying for the top four this season. I'm 100% sure of that. If we had had a better transfer window, we would be in the top four. Our summer transfer window was absolutely trash. A 2 out of 10, a 3 out of 10 at best. January 1, 9. Maybe even 10. I want to know your thoughts. Do you think it is more important that we secure our best players? Do we back our squad? Can we compete with this squad next year? Say we just get Asensio and one other. Have we got enough? What is this Villa squad being built already by Unai Monchi enough to do it? You have to let me know. By the way, big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to Spicy. Alfie Liggins is in the house. Big up to Andrew Holdsworth as well. So it's simple. Jack will back on loan next season if Rashford is not signed. Wow, a loan deal, Andrew. Now, does anyone actually know? Let me have a quick look on Jack Grealish's contract in here. I want to know his length of contract. Because I can't. Is it a permanent or is it a loan? Let's have a look. By the way, if you haven't already, please do smash the like button in. I really do appreciate all the support. And of course, do turn that notification bell on. We've got lots of content. April is a busy month, people. Have you seen how many games Villa have got this month? The content's going to be flowing. It's going to be flying. We're going to be doing our watch-alongs. We're going to be doing our previews. We're going to be talking all the news in between. We're going to be moaning, I'm sure. We're going to be excited. We're going to be on our knees because of the Champions League. We're going to be doing voodoos to the Paris people. Do you know what I mean? So, having a quick look at Grealish. Quick look here. I'll just share it now. Okay? Grealish's contract runs out in 2027. So, yes, a loan deal would look more feasible because if we do it in the 26 season yet, to then go and buy. Interesting. They gave him a 6-year deal. I did not realise that. 6-year deal for Jack Grealish at the age of 29. Where does he come next? But yeah, Rashford for me, we're not going to be able to pay 40 million for him. We're not going to be able to pay 40 million for Marcus Rashford, and we're simply not going to be able to compete with the wages he wants. Piotr, big up to you, aka Ross in Barkley, has said, is Morgan Rogers safe? Yes. Yes, I would say Morgan is safe. I'd probably say the only players who I feel are really safe at Aston Villa, Konsa, Rogers, and if Kamara signs the new deal, and Tielemans. I just think everyone else could be put out there. I just think that we'd be willing to lose. I know. Look, Emi Martinez is irreplaceable. Emi Martinez is irreplaceable in a way. If we get 60, 70 million for a goalkeeper, you're going to have to do it. It's sickening, I know. I don't want that to happen, by the way. But it's the way this business model works. Andy says, surely our transfer business, Duran for the G now proceeds Champions League, see us all right. Plus the gate receipts, plus that, you're not gonna believe it though, Andy. Apparently it's not gonna it's gonna be on the cusp. I read something like we would make 293 million or something like that of revenue and plus the business, the transfers. We're right on the cusp again. Right on the cusp. And the thing is, we genuinely cannot be toying with this. We cannot be toying with this. FFP, we cannot be putting ourselves in a predicament that is going to hinder us. So there we go. But we are going to wrap up in a minute, people. As I said, the Villa news coming into just out the international break is all about contracts. It's all about real talk from Emi Martinez. And of course, the big one tomorrow is a look ahead at, of course, Preston North End, Sunday, 1:30, FA Cup quarterfinals. The draw couldn't have been kinder. We have the weakest team in the competition. We're away from home. That's the only downside you could say of it. No excuses, no surrender. We have to go and beat Preston North End. Are you nervous or are you confident? Are you sure we're going to get the job done? We'll, of course, be doing a watch-along for that game. And second of all, lots of other content coming out. Videos in the mornings. That's what we're doing. Videos in the mornings, lives in the evening. I did a video this morning. I've got a new one already planned for tomorrow. Monchi again hinting at the position that he actually wants to recruit. Monchi has let something slip. I found a little snippet on a Monchi interview, and I'm going to let that one out there. So there we go. Spicy said, Emi Martinez is 100 mil all day, lol, not a penny less. I'd agree, to be fair. I'd even argue that he's irreplaceable. Like, how are you going to find a world #1 goalkeeper again? How are you ever going to find a goalkeeper of his stature ever again? You're just not, are you? You're simply not. So, madness, people, madness. And Pete said no VAR. There'll be no VAR at Deepdale, which is Preston's ground. So there we go. But yeah, people, it's been a pleasure. It's been a blast. Please make sure you got your notification bell on so you never miss an upload. I do appreciate that. Please make sure you smash the like button. Again, massive shout out to my guy, Andy Brogan, for the super chat tonight. I appreciate it. Andy, absolute legend, as always. And as I said, do, of course, look at the pinned comment. If you do want to become a member of the clan, then come join 99p. Come be part of it. We've got 70 members. Road to 100 is well and truly on. And Piotr said, we 0-0 until 60 minutes, then we'll score 3 goals. Look, that could be true of the FA Cup. The other way is as well, I could see us conceding first. We conceded first against Al Ain in the mid-season friendly. Why couldn't we concede first against Preston and then go win? It's one of the things we do. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, of course, with more content. Big up to Piotr, big up to Pete, to Spicy, to Andy, to Andrew Holdsworth, to Alfie Liggins, to Spicy, to Potaz, to Michael, to Pete, and everyone else who's been in the chat, Fraser as well. Big up to Heidi, as always, chilling with me throughout the show. And people, the time is ticking. FA Cup quarterfinal is looming. This one has been ages. I reckon we've been waiting 3 weeks for this. It feels like forever. Feels like forever. This is the one. The semi-final's on the horizon. I can smell it. I can feel it. It's our year. Come on, people. Up the bloody Villa. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And I hope Friday brings you good joy indeed. I'll see you all tomorrow on that video. Notification bell on. I'm out of here. Ta